The normal days for the monsoon is actually from 15th of July till mid of September, like 15th of September. But for past few years, we have seen and we have been analyzing like the monsoon is actually getting very hyperactive. And the core reason for is the rising temperatures of the sea surface temperatures of Arabian Sea. This year, we have seen that monsoon have started by the last week of June, or officially it was declared around 3rd or 4th July, which is like at least 15 to 20 days earlier than its normal dates. And so far, as per the long range analysis, currently we are going through a monsoon break. Around 15th of September, there is a high possibility that monsoon will bounce back again because of the MGO wave is also entering in the Indian Ocean. Once again, rise temperature will start rising again, especially in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. And we can see that this year is also moving. Monsoon is going to stay for a longer period, at least till the last week of September, or maybe it can extend to the first week of October as well. Yes, actually, unfortunately, it's a very disturbing pattern which we have been analyzing it for past few years, especially since 2014 and 2015. 2015 for especially because we have seen that deadly heat wave, which I guess no one will gonna forget for a long, long time. And since then, the core analysis suggests that since Arabian sea surface temperature is rising every year, be it on a very small level, but it is rising on a continuous basis, and that is going to boost the monsoon season very in a very intense way. Especially what we have seen this year, the overall monsoon axis. If basically monsoon axis is a thing, if you draw a line from Bay of Bengal towards the Arabian Sea or towards the Pakistan, certain areas of Pakistan, normally it's used to stay over the northern areas like Punjab and the upper Pakistan. This year, for at least 70 to 80% monsoon we have seen so far. It stays around the Sindh and Rajasthan region. Therefore, every low pressure system that came along from the Bay of Bengal towards us travel towards the south, southern Pakistan, and we have seen its effects already. As for the coming years, yes, it is going to happen like this because again, sea surface temperature as well as the climatic patterns are changing the monsoon dynamics very rapidly. In fact, this year we have seen the basic core dynamics of the monsoon region, like the easterlies and the upper trade winds. Basically, these low pressures literally skip these dimensions, and they even came, which a few of forecasters weren't expecting, especially this last spell. They weren't expecting it to be this intense, or it is going to stay for this longer period. But again, things are changing. Things are changing very rapidly, and they are going to intensify in next coming years as well. This year, Met Department as well as the private forecasters like me, we have already warned that before the monsoon season starts, that this year is going to be above normal, highly above normal, and we have seen that so far. Every other department is working in its capacity, but the overall measures have to be taken at the higher level, and this needs to be takes very seriously, especially for the upcoming years, because we cannot afford climate disasters like this every year. Again, monsoon is changing rapidly. It is going to change for the past few years, especially since 2019, 20, 21, and 22. We have seen back-to-back record-breaking events, especially in Pakistan, as well as even the monsoon is also reaching in the Middle East region. These regions were not in the monsoon belt since the centuries. Since the monsoon, basically, humans have discovered what is monsoon. These regions were not included in the monsoon belt, especially few areas of Balochistan as well, where we have seen the catastrophic floods these years. So this is going to stay, and now we have to we consider it as a climate emergency, and we have to take precautionary measures, as well as we have to educate our children, our upcoming generations, as they have to see its more intense fury of the monsoon in the coming years. So we have to educate them like on the lower level, from the primary levels, we have to add some kinds of subjects like this. They should have at least basic knowledge of what is climate change, and if something happens, how we can prevent it. Like if you see in developed countries, they train their children, if there is an earthquake coming, how do you have to respond, how do you have to act. So things like this have to be add in our syllabus as well.
We can expect that Balochistan will receive more rain. You'll have hill torrents from Koh Suleiman. And this is where we need to start mitigating that. We have to find out ways how to reduce the runoff so that it accumulates slowly and you have a breathing space for people to evacuate. And while this is happening, because the patterns switch to the southern side, we need to start thinking what can happen in the central and northern side as well. For example, Mangla Dam is still below near mid level. It isn't full this year. So you have an example where the eastern rivers can possibly run dry if you don't have enough rainfall in their catchment areas in summer. So in winter months, they'll start running dry. That will impact on food security. So what can we do within the limitations of our own river basin and when we talk about the country? So we need to start thinking in these terms that the pattern is going to be very different. Certain parts of Upper Sindh are going to become more prone because the region is not prepared for the natural drainage that is supposed to. Punjab, for example, has four rivers, so it's prepared to take a lot of the water to Panjna than Indus. Sindh has one river and it doesn't have enough drainage. It has perennial rivers and two major lakes, and those lakes right now have turned into a river as well. So these are the sort of things that we need to be looking in how to mitigate the intense flow of water and how to maintain the flow throughout the year. We have been guarding the river as something that it shouldn't flow. I don't really understand that why this thinking still exists. But we have to think of ways where our methods of conservation and usage are going to start to adjust to the new patterns of monsoon. And that is something that the NDMA and Ministry for Climate Change does. That's it from me, and I think Afia should add something on this part because I know Afia was part of the Living Indus initiative as well.
Pakistan's Met Department is pretty efficient, for sending out the kind of alerts to different segments of population. It has alerts for the farmers, it has alerts for the authorities, aviation alerts. All those alerts are on point. So I really don't see this, understand this traditional dismissiveness of weather people. They don't know what they're talking about. No, everything they have predicted has come true. So we have to be more responsive to the kind of predictions, and these predictions are regional. Basically, my point is the science is there. It's pretty accurate. We know what is coming our way. We need to be responsive to it. We need to take measures to adapt to the kind of situation with which we cannot, fight with. Like I said even earlier, that climate change is here. We cannot reverse it. We are facing its impact. So let's focus on how we face those impacts and how we make them least damaging to our people, to our country, to our infrastructure, to everything. That's